Well, folks, this surprise press conference that Donald Trump had inside the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C., I'm not joking, he was actually inside of the pool while speaking to reporters, certainly did not go to plan for him. He ranted about a variety of topics, none of which instills confidence in the American people, such as the Iran war, the hantavirus, and more. He even accidentally let it slip and called a woman reporter a bitch.
So Harry J. Sisson just caught Trump's chaotic press conference in the reflecting pool and breaks down exactly why this matters. We're seeing Trump's unhinged responses to health crises, contradictory Iran policy, and attacking reporters who ask basic questions. Let's break this down.
Behind the camera is the Lincoln Memorial, and the pool has been entirely drained because for some reason, Donald Trump is spending taxpayer dollars, your taxpayer dollars, on repainting the reflecting pool because that's the most important thing, right? Not like people need healthcare or the economy sucks or we're in the middle of a war or anything like that. It's the reflecting pool that's the most important. And
exactly right about misplaced priorities. While young Americans face $1.7 trillion in student debt and housing costs have doubled since 2020, Trump's focusing on cosmetic pool repairs. This perfectly captures how disconnected his administration is from real economic pressures facing voters under 30.
I'm also with ABC News. Can I ask you about the hantavirus? Have you been briefed on the virus?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us what you learned in these briefings?
Well, I think you're going to be told everything, and you already have. It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Should Americans be concerned that it's going to spread? And how are you working to get those
I hope not. We'll do the best we can, yeah.
To get the Americans that are on the ship
home.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about that answer.
This vague, hope it's under control response is textbook Trump health crisis management. We saw identical patterns during COVID's early months. Dismissive language, no specifics, false reassurances. Public health experts need concrete data and clear protocols, not presidential wishful thinking.
Donald Trump has fired all of them. He's outed all of the scientists who care about actual science. So I'm just curious, who is actually behind this report? And the fact that he was asked, should Americans be concerned about this? What's the latest? He says, well, I hope not. Well, that doesn't make me feel any better about it. He says, I hope it's being contained. What do you mean you hope it's being contained? You're the president of the United States. Might this be something that you're informed about? On regularly the president would be, but of course with this guy, he's only caring about his ballroom. He only cares about the reflecting pool that he's redoing in Washington, D.C. Not a great answer from Donald Trump, if you're asking me.
The science gutting is real. Trump's appointed RFK Jr. as HHS secretary, someone who's promoted vaccine conspiracy theories for decades. When actual health emergencies hit, having anti-science leadership creates exactly these information vacuums we're witnessing with the hantavirus response.
Donald Trump says that the war is over and that the ceasefire is lasting, but we're simultaneously bombing Iran. And this is what he had to say about the strikes today.
President, after these strikes, is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
Yes, could you give us an update on what is the latest in those talks?
No, the talks are going very well, but they have to understand if it doesn't get signed, they're going to have a lot of pain. They're going to have a lot of pain. They want to sign it, I will tell you. They want to sign it a lot more than I do.
What was the response?
I think that's what you want to hear, fellas, right? What you want to hear, a different tone. That's the only thing they understand. They don't understand it.
The logical contradiction here is staggering. You cannot simultaneously bomb a country and claim you're in a ceasefire with them. Trump's big glow coming out of Iran threat is nuclear escalation rhetoric that makes actual diplomatic resolution nearly impossible.
We've heard that exact same line from Donald Trump how many times now? That a deal is imminent, that it's right around the corner, 2 weeks. And then it never happens. And so when he's saying, a deal is on the table, we're getting there, I don't believe a word of it. And if there actually is a deal that's being worked on and Donald Trump is on the verge of agreeing to it. Iran is on the verge of agreeing to it. I have no faith that it's favorable for the United States. I mean, he accepted Iran's 10-point plan as the basis of which to negotiate on. That's conceding to them automatically. So I'm not exactly hopeful about what might be going on behind the scenes, but I find it remarkable that his argument is like, yeah, we bombed Iran, but the ceasefire, which is meant to be us not bombing Iran, is still on. That kind of seems a little contradictory to me. That kind of seems like a big problem to me. I don't know.
Spot on about the pattern recognition. Trump used identical deal is almost done language about North Korea for 2 years, China trade for 18 months, and now Iran. The ceasefire bombing contradiction shows he either doesn't understand diplomacy or deliberately misleads.
Here's where Donald Trump snaps, letting it slip at this reporter. I believe it's Rachel Scott from ABC. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if I got it incorrect. She asked, why focus on all of these projects as gas prices are soaring? A great question. A question that I'm thinking about, I'm sure you're thinking about as well. And Donald Trump did not like the question one bit, calling it a stupid question. And then he continued to rant at her and to just ramble incoherently with his answer. Watch.
Rachel Scott's question was perfectly reasonable journalism. With gas averaging $4.20 nationally and groceries up 30% since 2021, asking why the president prioritizes pool renovations over cost of living issues is exactly what reporters should be asking. Basic accountability.
A stupid question you asked. We're fixing up the reflecting pond to the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and you say, why are you fixing it up? Because you can understand dirt maybe better than I can, but I don't allow it. This is one of the worst reporters. She's with ABC Fake News, and she's a horror show. She's saying, why would you bother fixing this up? Why would I bother taking 11 or 12 truckloads of filth out of the water in front of the Lincoln Monument? That's what made our country great. Beauty made our country. People made our country great. A question like that is a disgrace to our country. Any other?
Trump completely avoided answering the actual question about gas prices and affordability. Instead of policy specifics, he launched personal attacks. This is exactly how authoritarian leaders respond to legitimate press scrutiny. Deflect with insults rather than substantive answers.
So I wasn't kidding when I said that he snapped. What the hell was that? You're the president of the United States, and you are berating a reporter for asking a question that, by the way, we're all thinking about. And look, if this is Donald Trump's tactic for the midterms, we're right around the corner, 6-ish months away, maybe 5. If this is Donald Trump's tactic for the midterms to insult people who are wondering why you're focused on pet projects in DC as opposed to making things more affordable, I encourage Donald Trump to run with this tactic.
This behavior absolutely motivates opposition turnout. Voters under 35 already disapprove of Trump by 28 points according to recent polling. When they see him berating reporters asking about economic issues they care about, it reinforces exactly why they need to vote.
And then he goes on to call her a bitch. Trump later called the same reporter, Rachel Scott of ABC, as you can see it right there. And just look at what he mouths here. Look.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. This way. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Just I'm gonna play this a couple of times for you.
Thank you, press. This way. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
He definitely said that. I'm gonna do one more zoom in.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. This way. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
He's really living up to who we believe him to be.
Calling a female reporter that word on camera reveals Trump's fundamental unfitness for office. This misogynistic language alienates suburban women voters who swung against him in 2018 and 2020. It's disqualifying behavior that no democracy should normalize.
I mean, Donald Trump never disappoints in the sense that he is always proving us right. That he's a terrible man, a terrible president, and just an awful person overall. I mean, you're the president, you're behaving like this. Disgraceful, disgusting, beneath the office of the president, but not beneath someone like Donald Trump who behaves this way all the time. I'm just grossed out. And so that was Donald Trump's presser.
This disgust is widely shared. Trump's approval among women dropped to 39% after similar incidents. Young voters especially reject this kind of behavior. It's why they turned out in record numbers in 2018, 2020, and 2022. This fuels opposition organizing.